everybody, and welcome to Wander No More. This is yet another visual novel that was created by my friends over at Unwanted Studios. They were the people who were behind Catch Canvas, and I found another one of their visual novels, and I decided that I'd play it. Now, this one's a little bit more on the air of maybe something a little bit more serious, because it's dealing with like samurai and stuff like that, but at the same time, you know, there's always room for fan service, but this looks a lot more serious, so we'll see exactly what happens, and we'll just go ahead and start the game. Wander No More takes place on an alternate Earth. Though obviously based off feudal Japan, the towns described in WNM are completely fictional, as are the characters, events, and so on. Any similarities to real people, places, and events are entirely coincidental. Do not expect historical references or any mention of real wars or events. WNM is just an indie game that was made to be enjoyed. I understand. So maybe it's not based in feudal Japan. It's okay. When I was a boy, joining the Kodokushi was my dream. Every day I heard tales of their exploits, whether they were protecting our land, driving away enemy forces, or taking the fight directly to them. They were hailed as an elite military force, devoted to protecting and expanding my kingdom's reach, and always serving the people righteously. Thanks to them, we could live without fear of being conquered. In fact, our territory actually expanded as time went on, all thanks to their tireless efforts and unyielding bravery. The Kodokushi were truly our saviors, the most forthright, noble souls in the country, if not the world. Believing that from the bottom of my heart, I trained every day, single-mindedly working towards my goal of joining the Kodokushi. I grew up to be strong, fast, flexible beyond the reach of any of my peers. Not me, though. I grew up to be flabby and play video games. As a result, before I reached adulthood, I was already a top contender to join the Kodokushi, and the day I hit 18, I was welcomed with open arms. It was the happiest moment of my life. A decade of training had paid off, and my dream had been realized. Or so I thought. The village standing before me now, burned to a crisp and devoid of human life, was the work of the Kodokushi. It was not an enemy village. There were no combatants to be found here, nor did its inhabitants pose any threat. It was just an ordinary, everyday village, stuck between two opposing kingdoms. And for the Kodokushi, that was reason enough. After joining the Kodokushi, I quickly realized that our work was neither noble nor righteous. We were not saviors of the people. We were not almighty defenders protecting innocent civilians from harm. We were a death squad. Every day we would venture forth, treading just a little bit further away from home and searching for the enemy. An honorable task, to be sure. We would drive away any threats before any further encroach upon our land, taking the fight away from innocent passers-by. But as soon as I learned the Kodokushi's definition of an enemy differed vastly from my own. Any village not under the village kingdom's direct control, or not paying us a protection fee, would be decimated. Thousands of innocent people, whose only crime was to not grow up under our jurisdiction, were killed in cold blood, never even given the chance to surrender. We slaughtered men, women, and children, even newborn babies, all in the name of our Lord the Emperor. I should have known they would follow me here. Nobody leaves the Kodokushi alive, no matter how high their rank or how long they served. Now, because I chose to flee here, those people are all... Tja! The bastard isn't here either! Are we even going the right way? This is Captain Nabatame we're talking about. He knows how to operate. He's probably heading in the opposite direction. Damn, I hadn't thought about that. Let's keep moving. Wherever he's headed, Captain Nabatame isn't here. I watched in silence from a nearby forest as the last of the Kodokushi moved on. I had successfully evaded their surveillance and hidden myself by blending in with my surroundings, just as the Kodokushi themselves had taught me. So I waited, patiently biding my time until the last unit left my sight, at which point I could finally relax once more. Those bloodhounds don't give up. It's understandable that they would want to silence me given what I know, but to chase me this far away from the kingdom? Even I won't be able to evade them forever. Though still alight, I returned to the village of Kodokushi the Kodokushi had just passed through. I had been running for weeks, and I desperately needed food and water, much more than I could find while fleeing through desolate wastelands and forests. If I hurry, maybe I can find some supplies before they're all burned to ash. I don't care what it is. At this point, plain rice and water would be enough. With that simple goal in mind, I wandered about the village. Around the village. Not about the village. Quickly checking each building for scraps of food. I put out fires where I could, using sheets and other miscellaneous pieces of cloth to deny oxygen to the flames. But as far as food was concerned, I found nothing. Only bloody corpses and scorched rations remained, leaving me without a single morsel to eat. Come on, there has got to be something edible around here that hasn't been torched. How poor does a village have to be to not have... As I frantically searched for food, I heard a faint whimper from within one of the houses. I immediately abandoned my search and headed to the next house over, quickly putting out the flames as I listened for the voice I had heard moments ago. But even without another sound to go on, there was only one other room in the house. And the moment I opened the door, I saw... Oh, it's a young girl with her hand cut off. A girl? Mama. Papa. Within a burning village, one in which no survivor should have remained, was a young girl. A single girl, crying alone in a house's storeroom, surrounded by rations I would have killed for mere minutes ago. As my gaze rested on the girl, however, food was the last thing on my mind. All I could see was a young girl, orphaned by an unwarranted, unprovoked attack for which I was responsible. Amazing. This little girl actually managed to hide herself away from the Kodakushi. I'm the one they're after, of course, and they've been pursuing me for weeks now, so it's not unthinkable that a few innocents might escape their grasp. Even so... Huh? I opened the storeroom's door wider, revealing my presence to the sobbing girl within. She gazed at me in shock, not expecting to be discovered, and no doubt wondering whether I was friend or foe. And once her eyes made their way to the katana at my hip, she had her answer. Mama, Papa, help me. Once again crying out for her parents, the young girl moved back, trying to put as much distance between us as she could. She pushed back with her legs, scraping her tattered yukata on the floor while tightly holding something in her hand. Even as she almost tipped over, the girl didn't use her hands. She instead grasped tightly at her wrist, refusing to let go. That's when I realized that the girl had lost more than just her family. This poor girl. She can't be any older than 14 years old. Yet she's already lost not only her family, but also a limb. Even if she survives, life isn't going to be easy for her. Everyone she once knew is now dead, and her village will need repairs impossible for a girl with one hand. Would it be kinder of me to end her misery? I put my hand on the hilt of my katana, which dangled wearily from my hip. As I did so, the girl before me let out an inaudible whimper and froze on the spot. Little girl, what's your name? The girl opened her mouth to speak, but hesitated to actually respond. Her vocal cords, like the rest of her body, froze in my presence, wary that the blade at my hip was not just for show. Chio Ease? Though barely audible, the girl before me answered, her voice wavering as she did. Tell me, Chio, do you want to live? Chio continued to stare at me with fear in her eyes, likely interpreting my question as a threat. I don't. I see. I drew my katana from its sheath and pointed its tip towards the girl's throat. I thought my days of killing defenseless children were over. But just this once. I don't know where this is going. Is it going to make me sad? Might make me sad. I slowly pulled my katana to the side, preparing to cut down the girl before me with a single strike. With a simple flick of the wrist, I would behead her, granting instant death to a girl who deserved no further pain. If that is your wish, Chio, then I don't want to die! A second before I could swing my blade, Chio shouted out, finally completing her answer. Immobilized by fear, her words reached my ears in fragments, giving the illusion that this girl wished for death. But with strong conviction and an unmistakable will to live, Chio's true desire reached my ears at last, and the blade in my hand lost all of its power. What an impressive girl. Even with her entire life going up in flames, she still hasn't lost her will to live. Regardless, she's still just a young girl, and a child with one hand cannot hope to survive out here on her own. If she's going to have any shot at survival, then... Alright, Chio, I understand. If you truly wish to live, then as one responsible for all of this, It is my duty to make sure that happens. Essentially, he just said, "Come with me if you want to live." I sheathed my blade and reached out my hand toward the shivering girl. My name is oh my god. Koichiro Nabatame. I am a trainer on the run from my kingdom. Look, that first name, it threw me off. It's Koichiro. Koichiro? I don't know. And from this day onward, Chiyo, you are my daughter. Well, there you go. I'm a nice guy, sorta. 1 year later. Hutsu Village, home of the merciful Nabatabe family. In the year that passed since its destruction, Hutsu Village has slowly been restored. All by ourselves, Chiyo and I have worked tirelessly to bring life back to this village, and although we are still a long way from finished, our efforts have not been in vain. The houses I was able to save from the fire have been undergoing steady repairs, mostly at the hands of yours truly, to the point where many of the buildings are habitable once more. Chiyo, unable to assist with manual labor, familiarized herself with the neighboring forest, and took on the role as a gatherer, amassing fruit and berries for the two of us to eat. She also showed me where her and her family used to go for water, a river within the forest in which the two of us now bathe. Like so, we were able to secure the bare essentials: food, water, and shelter. We developed a routine, divided our duties, and eventually learned to trust one another with our lives, just like a real family.
Oh my, if it isn't Chiyo-chan! Are you done gathering food already?
As I wandered through the village, the mention of a familiar name caught my attention. Wait, almost. Just one more basket and I'll be done.
Ha ha ha, you really are a good girl.
I can't do a girl. Can't do an old woman.
Koichiro-sama doesn't know how lucky he is to have such a wonderful young girl by his side.
Following Chiyo's voice, I turned around the corner to find her conversing with an elderly woman, whose name I had not yet learned.
Ah, speak of the devil. Good morning, Nabatame-sama.
Please, be at ease. Call me Koichiro, like everyone else does.
Understood, Koichiro-sama. So, are you here to check up on Chiyo-chan?
Don't be silly. Ko is just looking for work that needs to be done.
Oh, is that so? I wouldn't be surprised. Koichiro-sama just can't sit still, can he?
Not until this village has been restored to its former glory. Unless you'd like to take over for me, of course.
Ha ha! Careful what you say. I might just take you up on that offer. Of course, you'd have to take over weaving clothing for everyone in my place.
Ko? Weaving? That I would like to see. I retract my offer. But, if you need a loom, I might be able to make one. There are only minor repairs needed to the houses, so as long as we don't have to take in any new vagrants, I should have enough spare wood.
Oh, Koichiro-sama, that would be wonderful. You have no idea how much time and effort goes into making a single article of clothing.
Is it really that difficult? I should be done gathering food soon, so if you need help...
Ah, no, you don't have to do that, Chiyo-chan. My hands may be old and weary, but as long as they still serve a purpose, I'll be happy. Besides, there's no way I could gather food like you do. Let's each do our part, okay?
Yeah, okay. On that note, the elderly woman walked away, wearing a troubled smile as she did. Weaving, like so many other tasks undertaken by members of our village, required 2 hands. Excuse me. Knowing this, the woman tried to let Chiyo down gently, reaffirming her place as vital gatherer. But for Chiyo, that was not enough. Even as this town has taken in migrant after migrant, Chiyo's sense of responsibility hasn't changed in the slightest. From day one, she's tried to do her best in every aspect, taking on tasks we both knew she couldn't possibly complete. And as one person here who knows Chiyo better than anyone else, I know all too well what happens to her when her disability prevents Chiyo from doing her part. Excuse me. You know, Chiyo, even if a traditional weave takes 2 hands, the same cannot be said for looms. Would you like me to make a loom for you as well? Ko, are you saying that I might possibly be able to weave after all? I am indeed. Besides, if making one loom, if I'm making one loom, it shouldn't be difficult to make another one while I'm at it. What do you say? Do you want to give it a shot?
Absolutely! I definitely want to try it. Koichiro, you're the best.
I'll remember you said that. Now, let's get back to work. I'm just about to start on the wooden bowls you've been asking for, so make sure to bring back enough to fill them, okay?
Of course, you can count on me.
I wish Sid Daijing was here, so she could do all of the girl voices, and I wouldn't have to do everything. But anyway, full of spirit once more, Chiyo dashed off with a skip in her step, eager to complete her morning duties. Whew, that was a close one. What was that old lady thinking? It may not be a rule, but even newcomers should have the sense not to shoot down Chiyo like that. And of course, the end result is now I need to make 2 looms, despite the fact that I've never even made one. Honestly, it's times like this that I miss living alone with Chiyo. Even if it was more work, life was simpler back then. I only had to look out for Chiyo and our duties were divided evenly, making for a straightforward routine life. Now this village houses a dozen or so residents, most of whom I don't even know the name of. Worse, half of them are too old or young to be put to work, so jobs can't be divided evenly. Without realizing it, I've become the leader of a budding village of wanderers. A few hours passed by since I spoke with Chiyo, and true to my promise, I greeted her with a pair of wooden bowls.
Whoa, those are really, well, I appreciate the effort.
You needn't say a word, I can see how terrible they are.
Oh, don't be like that. They aren't that bad. They just need a little fixing up, that's all. Preferably by someone else.
You said it. The sooner we get some more able-bodied men around here, the better. As much as I enjoyed the solitary lifestyle Chiyo and I shared, it didn't take long for the two of us to realize we didn't possess the skills necessary to rebuild a village. For obvious reasons, I took on manual labor, but that didn't change the fact that I lacked any knowledge of woodwork whatsoever. Similarly, Chiyo didn't know how to sew, cook, or many of the things she did know how to prove too difficult with one hand. We gradually limped along, of course, making concessions along the way. I fumbled my way through basic repairs, and Chiyo learned how to work around her disability. But even then, we were still amateurs. My shoddy repairs would not last forever, and Chiyo would often run into tasks she couldn't complete, no matter how hard she tried.
Cheer up, you know I didn't mean it. You're doing your best, just like everyone else here, and that's all anyone can ask of you.
Thank you, Chiyo. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. Now, let's dig in, while the fruit is still fresh.
Despite her complaints, Chiyo filled both bowls with a mixture of berries and fruits from the forest. She then placed a bowl on either side of the table and sat down, gesturing for me to do the same. Fruit and berries yet again. It's been months since I last ate meat, and that minor luxury was only because Chiyo found a wounded rabbit while she was gathering food. Forget laborers, what this village really needs is a hunter. While secretly pining for that taste of flesh, that's a weird way to put it, I unconsciously began to drool.
Hey, I'm glad you're looking forward to this, but if you're that hungry, just dig in.
Following Chiyo's line of sight, I hastily wiped my mouth and started eating. In reality, eating fruit and berries every day wasn't so bad. There was some variety based on how far into the forest Chiyo went, and the taste was quite sweet. Furthermore, after working hard all morning, the watery taste was rather refreshing, and even after eating a bowlful, I didn't feel bloated. Nice work, Chiyo. These taste great. I was hoping you'd like them. I went deep into the forest for this batch, especially for you. For me?
That's right. I've been working non-stop lately, so I thought you've been working non-stop lately, so I thought you deserved a little reward.
If you know how hard I've been working, tell those other slackers to get to work. Even children can pick berries, right? And if they took over gathering food, you'd be able to help me out more often.
Ko, don't be like that. Children can't discern between edible berries and poisonous ones, and none of them know the layout of the forest like I do. Just leave the food gathering to me, and if you feel like you need a break, then take one.
Having said her piece, Chiyo herself began to eat the platter she had prepared. She joyfully consumed mouthful after mouthful, not at all tired of the familiar taste. But rather than join her, I continued to watch Chiyo, deriving a strange sense of pleasure from watching her elation. It's hard to believe that even now, after living peacefully together for a full year, I'm still learning from Chiyo. Rather than worrying about the division of labor or fretting over the food I eat, I should be content on what I have. After all, if a girl like Chio, whose entire world came crashing down without warning, is still able to smile like that after all she's been through, then maybe one day... Don't just watch me eat. You need to keep up your energy too, you know. I'm sorry that it's just the same as ever, but you still need to eat. Not noticing that I wasn't eating, Chio softly reprimanded me in her usual kind-hearted manner. Don't apologize, Chio. You've done nothing wrong. I was just happy to see you enjoying your food so much. That's no reason not to eat, or to not eat. You're the village leader, not to mention the only able-bodied man here. If you get sick, everyone will suffer. Okay, I get it. I'll eat too. You know, at times like this, you sound more like my wife than my daughter. What? It's nothing like that. I just don't want you to get sick, that's all. What's wrong with a daughter caring for her father's health? Calm down, Chio. It was just a joke. Well, that was in poor taste. Still blushing, Chio looked straight down at her bowl and started to eat once more. Oh, Chio, don't you understand that it's a father's duty to make her daughter feel awkward? Because even if our age difference makes us more like siblings than a parent and child, by this point, you are without a doubt my family. Aw, well that's nice. 2 months later, so now we're what? A year and 2 months in to the story? And that is where we're actually going to go ahead and pause. I don't know how long this game is, but so far, I'm enjoying it. I'm kind of wondering where this is going to go, but I have a feeling that stuff is going to get sad at some point. I'm sure of it. But anyway, I am Flog. This is Wander No More. And remember to hit that like button, comment, and of course subscribe, guys. And you guys can check this out because I'm going to leave a link. Also, you can find this on Steam, too. I didn't realize that, but you can find it on Steam. Anyway, I'll see you guys in another one. Are you gaming? Well, you should be. So get out there, guys. Bye-bye. Now we're gonna run into a fight. Oh, they're maggots. Oh, that's not too bad. Figment of my imagination is a pink-haired girl that is literally pantsless.